The first question that most people ask each other when they meet is, "What do you do for work?" I wonder if a more interesting question would be, "What are you passionate about?" There's a beauty in the spark inside all of us that's not necessarily related to our jobs, yet it's never acknowledged or appreciated. In a world of AI, efficiency, and automation, we have forgotten the subtle joys that slower processes can bring, such as craft, for example, because it doesn't make as much money. As a result, we're feeling disconnected from each other, from nature, from our creative selves. It makes me think of this quote from Dead Poet Society. And medicine, law, business, engineering, these are our noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. I challenged myself on this term off from architecture to reconnect with my other passion, which is painting. In fact, I created the art series of my dreams based on a painting I did in 2023 called Dancing Lights. The original concept for that painting stemmed from the first time that I saw ballet live, where I really admired the athleticism and the grace of ballet dancers and how easy they make it all seem. And I found myself wondering, how can I capture their infectious passion? How does one capture the essence of a human soul when it ignites doing something that it loves? And thus the Northern Lights became a metaphor for our human spirit, our passions, like music and figure skating and spirituality. So I decided to make this last painting about poetry, the love that people have for poetry. And I happen to know a really skilled poet, Moye, who is my best friend in architecture school, and she writes amazing, incredible poems. So I took that poem and I turned it into a painting, and capturing the essence of her words and how deep they are. Here I present.
There are diamonds in the cave. There are gleaming octopods. There are diamonds lodged in the rock, they are wisdom teeth, growing in late and delineating space. Yes, it hurts. Yes, I shall extract them. Yes, the diamonds are the myth of the patient. Somehow, I managed to wait until the tide rose and sank. Somehow, there was no tsunami. Somehow, when I arrived on the island, the rock was violent first and welcoming second. I found them, the treasures. Yes, there are diamonds in the cave. There Are Diamonds in the Cave is a poem about finding peace in an unexpected place. So basically being stuck in a situation where maybe you can't see a way out, or you never imagine yourself there, or it's just nothing close to what you thought your life would look like. And then realizing that in that space, there's something even more beautiful than you could have dreamed of, but you just might not have had the imagination in the past to really think of it. But now that you're faced with this new possibility, you realize how beautiful it is. The poem really combines a lot of imagery that I really like. There's three different things. There's a lot of blues. I think of a lot of blues when I read this poem. Then there's also imagery of water, which is connected to the blues. And then there's also the diamonds. But yeah, I've just always really been captivated by the water. I love to write by the water. I love to be by the water. And I feel a lot of peace and also a lot of connection to myself. Like sometimes it's really by the water that I kind of decide what I want for my future, that I kind of figure out the pieces of my past. I feel like there's a lot of myself within the water and by the water, and I've always really loved it. Also, my favorite animal is the whale, and of course, whales are associated with water, and I've always loved like the seas and the oceans. And because of that special connection to it, I always like to write about those places, and I also like to write within those places or by those places. It's also connected to all these deep blues that I think about when I think of this poem, kind of like the different phases of identity, different layers of identity. The other thing that I really love to write about as of recently are diamonds. I've really been captivated by the imagery of diamonds, largely because, well, diamonds are shiny, everybody likes diamonds, but it's also kind of like connected to the phrase like diamonds in the rough, like finding something beautiful in maybe a place that you didn't think was so beautiful at first. Maybe like underground or in a rocky cave, or just somewhere where the beauty is harder to find, but you still find it and you still find this diamond. My other thing is I've been really inspired by other artists, specifically in this imagery. This artist Amaarae, one of my like all-time favorite artists. She combines Afro beats with like house music, with like pop too. Her music is just like delectable, and a lot of her graphics will be like black luxury, so she'll use like shiny things, diamonds, expensive things. And I remember she has this one specific album cover that I really like, where it's like her face on the cover, but it's kind of obscured by all these shades of blue. And I think about that album cover a lot, and I think about the songs and some of the imagery in some of her music videos, and I've just always really liked that kind of aesthetic. And ever since I kind of discovered that, I've kind of taken that aesthetic and kind of like mixed it with my own ideas, mixed it with my ideas of water, mixed it with any other artistic ideas that I kind of been captivated with, and I've just really loved that aesthetic.